So today we are talking about sacred pilgrimage, and throughout history, religions and cultures have often literally taken sacred pilgrimages to places that they felt were sacred or places that they felt that there was a particular energy, and mainly these pilgrimages were a little bit of ways from where they were, and they generally had to walk. So part of what the pilgrimage was, if they were willing to walk that far, it kind of showed a sacrifice in a sense, that they were that willing to deepen themselves, that there was a true sense of openness. And so today we are going to talk about some ways that we can take our own sacred pilgrimages. Now, a lot of what I'm going to share with you today is from Dr. Roger Teal. So our tendency is to live at the surface a whole lot, right? I mean, that's just normal. That's normal in our humanness, that throughout our day, we're generally living at the surface of life. And this is where we apply most of our efforts. And this is also a huge reason why we tend to falter along the way, because we are superficial in a way in our understanding. And this is not to beat ourselves up. It's really an aha, an awareness moment for us of how much time we spend out here. Does anybody relate to that? Hopefully we all do, because the reality is we spend a lot of time out here. Normal. But what today is about is deepening our roots, so that even when we're living out here, it comes from a different place, and we have a different experience of that. And sometimes it's just time for us to do less and to let go and to move into that deeper place. So one of the ways that we do this is through deepening, through surrendering, and through the sacred pilgrimage. So I first want to share with you some signs, some signals that it might be time for us to deepen. Okay? Oh. Dee is having so much fun with this. I love it. An interesting combination of exhilaration and pure panic when we say yes to a great vision. Have you ever said yes to something? It's like, woohoo, oh my gosh, what am I doing? So it's a combination of that. When we find ourselves getting stuck in attitudes and spaces of awareness that do not support and empower us. And this is just a little kind of comical aside. There was something that said, what would happen if the Hallmark creators, the creators of the cards, got stuck one day? And so maybe some of their greetings would be things like, looking back at the years that we have been together, I wonder, what was I thinking? Congratulations on your promotion. But before you go, you might want to take this knife out of my back because you may need it. I'm so miserable without you, it's almost like you're here. Those are the kinds of things that happen when we get stuck. Okay, other signals: beginning to question your vision. How about pulling back from taking risks for your path? Anybody ever done that? Doubting your abilities, doubting the support of God, veering off the path, becoming scattered. How about life's big surprises? Or just questioning our own beliefs. I think, through different things that we go through in life, sometimes we question our own beliefs. So these are signals that it might be time to take a bit of a sacred pilgrimage. And part of this process requires surrendering. And this is a spiritual surrendering. This is not the surrendering that, wave the flag and have to retreat or give up. It's not that kind of surrendering. In fact, this type of surrendering is the most empowering thing that we can possibly do, and it's spiritual surrendering. And it's actually when we're willing to hang in there and access a deeper dimension of our being. Really access that deeper dimension of who and what we truly are and what is available and accessible to us in our life experience. And it's entering into a place of total willingness and absolute trusting. This is surrendering. Now, the words sound easy, but think about it. We're entering into a place of total willingness, and I think we can get to the willingness and trusting. Trusting is the big word. And, but this is what true spiritual surrendering is about. There is huge, huge power in this aspect. Now, surrendering also has a partner, and that partner is deepening. And I love how he says, just like the great tree requires an equally great root system, so also are deeper roots required for inspired living. And our roots go deeper when we consciously devote ourselves to attune to the one presence, the one power, to God. And that is at the heart of everything. God is at the heart of everything that we experience in our life. God is at the heart of everything. And this is when we decide to shift our focus from out here in what is happening around us, and we truly go into that inner life of our being. And that is when we truly begin to deepen ourselves. Have you ever said or felt or heard, either when you're having the most amazing time in your life or you're really in the depths of despair, that something's missing? Something is missing. And it's that place where we have lived kind of a hollow existence, where we have let ourselves just live at the surface of life. And what we're all really yearning for is we're yearning for that depth. We're yearning for that experience. We're yearning for the realization and to feel the presence of the divine, to feel the presence of God. That's our deepest yearning, because when we even have moments, and I always like to liken it to in Scripture where the woman just touches the hem of the garment and she's filled with such great power. In those moments, sometimes those nanoseconds, when we touch it, it's like an immediate sense of like, oh my gosh, it just, you know that you've touched the divine. And I don't know about you, but I want more of that. I want more of those moments. He also says that in the plant, it seems that there is a thirst in the roots to push down deeper. And that thirst is in us too. And it's a spiritual thirst. Psalm 42:1 says, as the deer thirsts after the streams of water, so thirsts my soul, dear God, for thee. I love that. Such a beautiful psalm. So thirsts my soul, dear God, for me. And the taproot of our lives is spirit. That which we are ready to tap into is God. It's the divine. And it's always going to call us to a greater depth of our being. Now, deepening is not a distraction from our purpose at all. Deepening, in fact, is a vital part of living our purpose in a greater way. So it's not something that distracts us from our purpose, but it actually unites us with the unlimited and ultimate power of God. I want to share with you, a certain man went through a really, really, really hard time in his life, and it was a point at which his friends started spending the days and the nights with him and kept all literally sharp objects away from him because they were concerned that he was going to hurt himself. One of his friends wrote, melancholy dripped from him as he walked. It's pretty dark, isn't it? And he wrote in his journal, I am now the most miserable man living. If what I feel were equally distributed to the whole human family, there would be not one cheerful face on the earth. Whether I shall ever be better, I do not know. I awfully forebode I shall not. To remain as I am is impossible. I must die or be better, it appears to me. This man, Abraham Lincoln, in 1841. But following that, he had a spiritual awakening, and he had a deepening. And this deepening moved him, where his roots went deeper and supported him not only through the challenges of that time, but through the challenges of what was to come. And, in about 1863, at the height of the Civil War, when there was tremendous criticism, tremendous opposition, a time when anybody would be down by that, here's what he wrote in his journal. The year that is drawing to the close has been filled with the blessings of fruitful fields and helpful skies. These bounties are so constantly enjoyed that we are bound to forget the source from which they come. And I have learned that people are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. So he had deepened so much that even in the times when there was so much negative stuff going on, he saw the beauty and he recognized the source of all of that. And that is the same opportunity that each and every one of us has in our lives, no matter where we are, no matter if we're in a fabulous time or just an okay time, or whether we're in a downward kind of a time. Sometimes we embrace deepening by choice. Sometimes we say, hey, I'm ready, I'm going to deepen. And we make that decision. And I really think that those deepening by choice times are a little bit easier on us, that I'm choosing to move into this experience. Most of the time, we deepen by life happening, right? Yeah. and that pushes us into that place of, that I think is where we question, we feel lost for a period of time. There might be despair, sadness. There's a lot of things that go along with that, but eventually we realize that it's time to stabilize myself, to get those roots deeper, and and to have that stability that we know that no matter what is happening, that God is right there. God is right there, loving us and supporting us and guiding us, even in those times that we feel like we have been just burst out into outer space and there's nothing that we're orienting ourselves to, and we just feel like we're flying with nothing. When we choose, especially choose to make these journeys without having to go through life's challenges, but also when we make them having gone through life's challenges, we do deepen our roots. And it does create more stability in our life experience. So you've heard the phrase critical mass. Okay, so critical mass is physicists and scientists talk about this phenomenon where enough of the needed elements come together. So this is the point at which it's like the tipping point. So there's been enough prayers for peace that all of that has come together, that something profoundly changes, or there's been enough focus on an intention that all the elements come together, and it's a tipping point. All of a sudden things start to come into manifestation. Well, what Roger tells us is that what we haven't been told, the rest of the story, actually the preceding part of the story, is that what comes before critical mass is what he calls a critical mess. And he says this is not a little mess. This is generally a total mess, a total breakdown time. But he says that the good news is this is also an opportunity, a ripe opportunity for a breakthrough. And it is actually a beautiful opportunity amidst the challenges of life to deepen. And it always is. It's always there at some point. It's always there at some point. I have to go deeper. I have to go deeper. I have to go deeper. So he gives us what he calls a pathway that all of us can use, a set of practices that we can use. And so he starts this with a transformative breath. So he says, the first thing to do is to breathe. Now, has everybody been breathing today? Yes, I'm assuming. So we all know how to breathe. But what he's talking about here is a transformative breath where we become conscious and where we choose to really deepen that breath. And so what is suggested is that we're going to take, and we're going to work a little bit with this, take in some deep breaths, and it's the belly breath. So does everybody agree to do the belly breath? Yes? So here's the thing. Don't worry when your belly comes out, because everybody else's belly is coming out too, okay? So we're going to breathe in and really let that air go down into our belly. And when we breathe out, we're literally like bringing our belly back to our spine, okay? This is the breathing we want to do. Breathe out, breathe in. Okay, and breathe out. Now he tells us, and this is based on a book by Thomas Crum called 3 Deep Breaths, that there's the centering breath, the possibility breath, and the discovery breath. So we're going to start with the centering breath. The centering breath is about bringing us to the present moment with balance and energy. How many of us always live in the present moment? How many of us a lot of the time live in the present moment? How many of us sometimes live in the present moment? Is it because we get, so the first thing is we want to bring ourselves here. Because here's the thing about a crisis or something happening in our lives. In this moment, we're okay. And a big part of the reason we're not okay is because we're looking here and we're looking here. In this moment, I'm okay. So we're going to do 3 deep breaths. We're going to breathe into the present moment and breathe out balance and energy. But okay, so we're going to take a deep breath in. Present moment with balance and energy. Breathe in. You know, and even just in those 3 breaths, just tap into what your body feels. Just tap into how quickly even just 3 deep breaths can really affect you. So the next breath is what's called the possibility breath. And the possibility breath is breathe in the me that I want to become with purpose and power. We're breathing in the me that we want to become. And even if you don't know what that is, that's okay. Because you do know. At the depth of your being, you do know. So we're going to breathe in the me that I want to become with purpose and power. Okay, breathe in. And the more that we do that, we take to the cellular level the possibility of this becoming. And then the third breath is discovery breath. Now this breath is that we're moving into the mystery and we're letting go of judgment. Here's the thing, is that, and we talk about this a lot, that we have these structures of knowing, and it's our conscious mind. And that we have to let these structures of knowing down in order to open up to the great and grand mystery of all that is, to the field of pure potentiality and possibility that is there for us. So when we breathe in on this one, we're breathing into the mystery and we're breathing out on the letting go of structures of knowing, okay? So breathe in to the mystery, and breathe out the structures of knowing. And so you can use this transformative breath anytime. You can use it in your car. You can use it when you're in the midst of something going on in a meeting that's stressful. You can use it when you're just sitting at home. It's a powerful, powerful tool. The next thing that he suggests that we might do is what's called transformative prayer. Now in Unity, we do affirmative prayer. We do prayer that is almost like a thank you in advance. And we do prayer sometimes to make us feel better, to lift us up, and that's really a good use of prayer. But what Roger says about this particular prayer is this prayer is dangerous prayer. Because in this prayer, transformative prayer, we are willing, and we are open, and we are saying, God, here I am. Use me. Use me, God. What is it that is mine to be and to do in this body at this time? And the reason that that's dangerous is because many times when we are that willing and that open, changes take place in our life that may not feel well, not every time, but things start to shift and occur, and we can feel ourselves kind of out there again. But what we can absolutely know and trust is that God is right there. The divine, I love what, will never take us to a place where grace will not guide us and get us through, ever, ever, ever. And that we can fully trust that. So we move into a transformative prayer by saying, hold on just a second, use me, deepen me, show me what I must become in the presence of anything. Show me what I must become in the presence of anything. Show me what I must become that most expresses the divine in the presence of anything. Isn't that what you want to be? Isn't that our deepest desire, to be that and to live from that? That there's a saying, I have it in my office, that live in a way that those that know you but don't know God come to know God because they know you. Isn't that beautiful? So that's what transformative prayer will get us to. And then the last thing that he says is a transformative willingness. And this willingness is a willingness to be touched at the core of our being, to be touched by the sacred, to be touched by the divine. I had my 2-year-old grandson yesterday for a while, and we were taking a nap, and he's just in this cuddly, loving place, and so he is like wrapping his little arms around my neck, and he's got his little hand on my face, and he goes to sleep just holding you, and you can imagine my heart is just like exploding with the most amazing sense of love. So take whatever that experience is that is your greatest and grandest expression of love and multiply it by a gazillion times, and you aren't even near the love that God is. We so many times don't let ourselves feel and really move into and feel the touch of the divine and know how purely and perfectly we are loved, that we are seen, that we are loved purely and perfectly with all of our life experience up to this point as we are, and we always will be. There's a beautiful poem by a prayer by Malcolm Beebe. It says, I ran from your touch, and you stayed with me. I lost my vision, you helped me see. I started searching, you came to me. I asked forgiveness, you set me free. I looked inside me, you knew I would. I saw you in there, you knew I could. I chose your pathway. You knew I should. I shine your light. You knew I would. So I believe, my friends, that it is time for all of us to take a sacred pilgrimage in our own lives. And you may not be ready for some big pilgrimage that you're going to go away to some place. You may not even be ready for the big, deep, sacred pilgrimage. But I want to share with you that we have something right here at Unity of Springfield, and it's called a labyrinth. And our Youth of Unity created and painted this labyrinth for us. It is on the parking lot behind the teen house, which is just the house south of us. Anybody can use this labyrinth anytime. A labyrinth is not a maze. You can never get lost in a labyrinth. A labyrinth is created just in the most beautiful way, and the idea is maybe to stand at the beginning of that labyrinth with an intention. You may have a particular intention, or your intention just may be I'm willing. And then in a sacred way, you walk in, and the path will guide you in. And you'll end up in the center. And somebody told me just a little bit ago, there's actually 6 little petals on the outside of the center. Perhaps it's the 6 days of creation, with the big center being the day of rest. But maybe you have a particular thing and you want to go off into one of the petal areas, and it's not really a petal, but it's what I'm calling it, and just focus for a time, but ultimately go back to that center and just be open. And then when you feel ready, in that sacred way, you walk back out of the labyrinth, and you will be guided out of the labyrinth. And then just be ready and open, because things will start to shift and occur in your experience. I want to share with you from a personal perspective that I am getting ready to take a sacred pilgrimage. I have reached a point in my journey where I'm just depleted, and I'm not giving what I know that I can give to this ministry. And so I'm going to take a leave of absence for a little while, anywhere from 4 probably to 6 weeks. And I just ask that during that time, I do ask that you just hold me up in that the first couple weeks I'm just going to chill out. I just need to stop the craziness. I need to just rest and relax, and I'm just going to chill out. And then I'm going to be open. Thank you. I didn't expect that. Thank you. Thank you. And then I'm just going to be open to what that sacred pilgrimage is going to look like for me, because I need to move into the acceptance of what is in my life, and I just haven't wanted to do that. And I'm ready to heal, and I'm ready to come back. I'm ready to come back because just like she's saying, I feel like I'm in the fire right now, but I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm going to rise out of these ashes, and I'm going to spread my wings, and I'm going to come back better than I am today, and I'm going to come back ready to lead us into the next phase of what this ministry is. And I want to encourage each and every one of us to also make that commitment to take that deep sacred pilgrimage ourselves. Each of us have come to this ministry because it speaks to us, because it has changed our lives at the core of our being. And in order for us to do what is ours to do next, each of us must go to that place and say, use me, God. What am I here for? How is it that I can be a part of this collective vision to take this ministry to the next level, where we can finally quit being the big secret in Springfield and our surrounding communities? I still have people say to me, I didn't even know you guys were here. That is a shame for us, because we have a message that can bring such love and peace and goodness to our community and to our world. I was so delighted and excited that yesterday Unity of Springfield was very well present in the Pride Fest downtown. That we were there, yes. That we were there to make our presence known and to say we are all one energy. There is no separation. We are all beloved creations of the one presence and one power. And we are here to stand in that and to stand for that. And we have so much that we have to do together. But each and every one of us has to make that deep, sacred pilgrimage so we can figure out what our part in this is. I don't want this ministry to just stay where we are. And we're going to stay where we are as long as each and every one of us doesn't do what is ours to do to bring this collective vision together and to be the light that we are intended to be in this world, because I believe with everything in my being that we are here to be a brilliant light and to help raise the consciousness of everyone around us and to let people know who are looking for us that we're here, and we welcome you, and we love you, and we're here as your spiritual sojourners to walk this path with you and to support you wherever you are and to help lift you up, and knowing that you will help lift us up when we need it. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. I am so in gratitude and deep appreciation for the incredible support that the board has given me. I mean, it was like an overall unanimous take whatever time you need. It touched me at the core of my being. And I thank you guys just for walking through this with me and for allowing me this time and this space to move into this. And I just thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.